All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Thursday, September 12th. We have an 8-game MLB slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, we're going to go through each and every one of these games. I'm going to give you my lean on the side. I'll give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like in the game as well. But as always, all of my final plays, if you do want to fade me, all of those plays are going to be living in the pinned comment of this video. So make sure to keep an eye on that. And finally, yesterday, you know what? I'm going to drop the cha-ching. We break out of the slump here. We have a 2-1 night. We went super juicy yesterday, but you know what? If I like a play, I like it. You know what I mean? We weren't in the minus 160 range or anything like that, but Phillies first 5 cashes. The Yankees money line, we go to extras. That was exciting. Jazz Chisholm Jr. knocks in one for his first walk-off hit of his career, I believe. Something like that I was hearing the announcer say. But then the Brewers and Giants first 5 under 4.5. That was a tough one, all right? That was tough. I think it was like 8-0 after 2 innings. So the Giants went off, but we'll take a 2-1 night. Unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, and I mean it, the ride of the day does not come through for my man Tater here. A 4-game parlay, which he hit 2 days ago, ran it back, switched out a team, and the team we switched in the Astros ends up losing to the A's. So unfortunately, that ride of the day does not come through. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, it's simple. Just use that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. I jump on board with one play and give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. I posted on my X, on my Twitter, so make sure to go follow me there at FGuyBoston. It's right here. But yeah, whichever comment gets the most likes with the hashtag ride of the day in there, or ROTD, I jump on board with. So go ahead and make sure you're liking the comments that you think are good plays as well. But what do you say we jump into today's games? Again, small slate. We don't need to force anything. We got NFL in full swing now as well. So you know, just be a little conservative when you're looking at these smaller slates. We don't need to force anything just to have some action, but we'll have some action today. But yeah, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's jump into it. We got Detroit taking on Colorado. Tariq Skubal on the mound, or listed as the starter for Detroit. That's obviously going to change things drastically. Colorado in this spot, I don't love them against Skubal. They're not a very good hitting team. Against lefties in the last 30 days, they're very, very bad. 218 average against, third to last in the league in the last 30 days for WRC+. Their power numbers stink as well, but what news are we breaking, right? This is the Colorado Rockies, and they've struggled for quite some time here. I think I'm going to look at the first 5 run line here for Detroit. It's minus 140, but against a really bad Rockies lineup, and you have Tariq Skubal on the mound, I actually think that is kind of a valuable price tag. So minus 140 for the first 5 run line. They have to be winning after the first 5 innings. The total sitting at 7. I almost like the idea of taking a peek at like a really, almost like a an under in the full game here for Colorado, but you're getting bad numbers. You know what I mean? For the full game right now, their team total, you'd have to go under 2.5 just to get a nice price. So that's where I originally went with, but because Skubal's on the mound and he should deal, I think, you know, that's kind of priced out. So the only thing that I'll probably consider touching, and honestly it's got a chance to be a final play, would be that Detroit first 5 run line here. They've won 4 straight against Colorado. They've kind of looked really good in this series so far. 11-0 win, 7-4 win yesterday. So yeah, I don't mind this spot, and they're going up against a right-handed pitcher. Their batting actually hasn't looked all that terrible against righties in the last 30 days, so give Detroit a little bit of credit there. Give me them on the first 5 run line. And by the way, guys, I forgot to mention this at the start of the video, but yes, I am going to another wedding this weekend, so Wedding Ev, you know, Wedding Ev in the comments. That's what we do. So I don't know if we'll have a video for baseball Friday morning, but we have tons of NFL stuff that we're recording and releasing throughout the next few days and whatnot. So just keep an eye out for that. I'm going to try my best to get a baseball video out, but with travel and whatnot, I'm not exactly sure. But yes, we're going to another wedding this weekend. But let's jump into this one. We got, if you're new, I've been to like 8 weddings this summer. That's why it's a joke. But so St. Louis taking on Cincinnati here. We have on the mound, I believe it's Sonny Gray going up against Jacob Yunis, who hasn't looked all that, you know, god-awful as a starter, but nothing that I really would want to put my money behind. And Sonny Gray, though he's had some rough starts as of late, he still should be the better pitcher in this spot. And he kind of reeled it back in. He has 2 straight starts now of 6 innings plus. He actually went 7 innings in one of them and only 1 earned run in each of those, and he struck out 11 combined. So I think Sonny Gray may be back per se. In terms of how he's fared against this team in the past, not necessarily this team, but the guys on the roster, 74 plate appearances against. He's got a K rate of 31%, an average against of 284, which isn't all that great, but an expected batting average against of 238. So it gets a little bit better there, and an xWOBA of 296. So Sonny Gray should be able to pitch fairly well. He throws a bunch of pitches, so no matter how you want to splice it up, in fact, if we want to look at the dashboard here, become a channel member, get access to this dashboard each and every day. We have every single game built out here. But you can see he throws a bunch of pitches, 6 pitches, and the fastball only being 24%, and you guys always know that's what I look at for Cincinnati. That's the pitch that they hit really well. So I think Sonny Gray can fare fairly well. That's weird to say out loud, against this Cincinnati team. So I'm going to be on St. Louis some way, shape, or form. But again, it's kind of a tough price to get a St. Louis team that I'm not like all that thrilled or in love with. You know, they've split this series so far. St. Louis has won 6 of their last 10, but overall, like, it's a tough price tag to kind of get behind. You know what I mean? So maybe this is a spot in which we look at like a first 5 under. That's kind of backing Sonny Gray, but we don't have to worry about the offense, you know, scoring a bunch of runs or anything like that. So some way, shape, or form, we could probably work backing Sonny Gray into it. I would go first 5 run line, but St. Louis has only covered that line in 3 of their last 10 games, and in 5 straight they've dropped it. Whereas Cincinnati, that +0.5, they've done in 10 straight games. So that trend kind of makes me want to oppose it a little bit. But again, I do want to back Sonny Gray. So maybe this is a first 5 type of a total. Right now, the full game is at 7.5, right? But you get that first 5 at under 4.5 for -130 on DraftKings. Maybe a little bit of value there. So I like St. Louis, but not that price. But I would go first 5 total, maybe even first 5 run line. But again, that trend's kind of scaring me. But I'll tell you something that does not scare me. What a transition, Ev. Check out DraftKings offer right now, guys, for the next few days. I think you have a week left of this offer. You're going to get an offer of betting $5. You get $250 instantly into your account in bonus bets, and you get, a month free of, Paramount Plus, NFL Plus. Like, absolutely great deal. So head over there, guys. That link is going to be in the pinned comment. You must be 21 plus. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. But go check it out, guys. That link is in the pinned comment. Bet $5, get $250 instantly. Like, I wish I had not been signed up for DraftKings for, years now, because this is one of the best offers I've seen. You get NFL Plus for a month as well. So go ahead and check it out. This offer shouldn't be missed. You only have 7 more days to capitalize on it. So go check it out. That link is in the pinned comment. If you're not on DraftKings, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, what a great sportsbook. Tons of offerings and all that stuff, guys. Head over there. That link, like I said, is where? In the pinned comment. But let's go ahead and jump back into these games here. All right, moving on to Houston taking on the Athletics. And like I said, this is the one that ruined Tater's parlay yesterday, so I'm sure he is fired up about this one. Houston's lost both games so far in this series by 1 run, 4-3, and then 5-4. Hunter Brown got outpitched, I guess you could say, by Joey Estes yesterday. Joey Estes made it into the 7th inning. Brown came out after 5. In this one, we have Framber Valdez on the mound, who is a lefty. Oakland definitely struggles a lot more against lefties than they do righties. Going up against Mitch Spence, who has struggled on the road. So though this is -250, and it's an obvious thing to say, I'm pretty confident in the Astros at least pulling one out today. The righty-lefty matchup split seem to be in favor here. He throws, Framber Valdez throws a ton of curveballs, sinkers. This is not a great pitch for Oakland, and he's a lefty. So maybe a parlay throw in, something like that. If we wanted to do our usual, well, let's take them on the first 5 run line, because obviously we do that a lot when we try to massage odds. You're still getting like a pretty digestible number at -160, but still not worth it for a team that has now lost both times. You know what I mean? Maybe there's no momentum here. So I would just throw them into some sort of a parlay. Maybe it's like Tigers and Astros parlay, the 2 big favorites on the board, right? Now the total's sitting at 8. I don't really know where to come out with this one. I think Framber Valdez pitches well, but I want the Astros to be able to get to Mitch Spence. So maybe the way that we'd play the total would be looking at a potential team total under overall for the game. Right now, the total would be under 3.5 for -150 for Oakland. You're pushing it, but that's probably how I would play it, because I don't want to have to be biting my nails over an under when all I want is the Houston, bats to come alive. And like they did in yesterday's game, they scored 5 runs. Like if they scored they scored 4 runs. If they scored 1 more in 5, we'd be shaking in our boots about this total. So maybe it's an Athletics team total, but again, we're kind of priced out even at this point. For -150, you're looking at them to score 3 or less runs. So the books beat us to this one in terms of value. Washington taking on Miami. Washington, rightfully so, heavy favorites in this one. Miami does not seem to be doing anything special after having a really good series against the Phillies. You know, they score those 19 runs through 2 games, and then they go 2-4-1, get swept by the Pirates. Washington coming off of a win against Atlanta. So, yeah, I guess this probably is a tough spot to like Washington or Miami, because if you like Washington at home with a good pitcher, Mitchell Parker on the mound, good pitcher, who's been really good at home, you're paying minus 180. That's a little egregious. And then you have Darren McCanahan, whatever his name is, on the mound for Miami. You guys know I can barely pronounce my own name. So I think that there's a pitching advantage, a batting advantage on the National side of things. But at the end of the day, you are still betting the Nationals, who, if you were to be a $100 better and take them every game, you'd be down about 2 units in their last 20, because this National team has been losing a decent amount. Whereas Miami is such an underdog that they've only won 4 of the last 10 games, but you'd be up $100 if betting on Miami every game. So kind of something worth considering there. You know, Washington doesn't seem like they should be worth this price tag, but I've said that about nearly every game so far. We have a small slate with a lot of tough money line odds, you know what I mean? So it just kind of is what it is, but maybe a Washington play here. Same game parlay, them winning, and maybe a team total over like 3, something like that. This isn't the sexiest matchup on the board here today. In terms of the total, I would potentially consider the over. Not that I really believe Miami's going to go out there and hit Mitchell Parker up, but Mitchell Parker, like I said, has had some spotty starts. He's been good at home, but his last few starts here now, 2 of the 3 are at home, and he hasn't looked all that great. That was against the Yankees and Cubs, so fine, way better offenses, but Pittsburgh put up 4 earned runs through 3 1/3 against him. And Pittsburgh's offense, you could draw some sort of a correlation to Miami, right? Even though they just swept Miami. So I'd lean towards the over ever so slightly, but I'm just being honest, this is not the best spot on the board. In fact, like I mentioned, it ain't the best board overall. That's why I told you guys early, do not force anything today. All right, Guardians taking on Tampa Bay. I think this could be a fairly good series here. You have Tampa Bay getting swept by the Phillies, the Guardians sweeping the White Sox, so I don't even know what to pull from either of those past series, right? Tampa Bay kind of should get swept by the Phillies in a sense, and the Guardians should sweep the White Sox, so who knows where the momentum lies here. I will say that Cleveland's coming in winning 7 of their last 10 games. Gavin Williams on the bump today, who I feel like I've bet against Gavin Williams a decent amount, and somehow, some way, the dude always seems to screw me over. He's got a 3.2 ERA over his last 5. Not all that tremendous. Ryan Pepe Le Pew's looked pretty good. He's been consistent at that. But still, this is a Tampa Bay team against righties. And if we jump back into the members dashboard here, you'll see a lot of red up here, right here specifically against righties last 30 days. And he throws a ton of fastballs. Gavin Williams, he goes to a cutter, a curve. There's really no pitch other than the changeup, which he only throws 6% of the time that this Tampa Bay team hits. So yes, Gavin Williams kind of struggles at home compared to on the road in the season, but overall, I do think we have a little bit of a good spot against this Tampa Bay lineup. But if you really want to make the argument for Tampa Bay, it's right here. Like you're trusting him, and you're trusting that this bullpen is comparable. Obviously, Cleveland has one of the better bullpens in the entire league, but for me, the price just isn't great enough for Tampa Bay. My plus 125, this would need to be like plus 140 for me to really consider it. So yeah, give me the Guardians minus 140 on the road here. You get that at Bet Rivers, at home, excuse me. So, and again, I don't necessarily love it, but I think this is actually going to be one of the better games / matchups that we have today. The problem being, now we've just looked at every single favorite on the board. Comment favorite if you made it this far in the video, because sometimes we do that. We're looking at it, and I'm putting every game into a vacuum, right? I'm not sitting here being like, ooh, I'm shaking now because I took 4 favorites in a row. It doesn't work like that. We got to just take each game as we go, and yes, we can acknowledge we've taken a lot of favorites, but it's because I like the favorites. In terms of the total, though, I don't mind a look at the over. I think the Guardians could have some offensive success today, but again, now we're accounting for the Rays to do their part. But this total's down at 7.5. I like that. I could see this being, a 4-3 game at minimum, and then we get 1 run somewhere along the way. So I lean towards the over, but I'd probably go Cleveland money line as my main play in this one. In terms of what they've done against each other recently, Tampa Bay won the last series in Tampa Bay 2-3. That was in the middle of July. So Cleveland's looking for some revenge today as well. All right, before we do get into the rest of the slate here, we got 3 games left. Let's go ahead and talk about Underdog Fantasy, a free CD Lamb square there, guys. He got the contract. He balled out. Now he has a 0.5 total yards line over on Underdog. Go check it out. You get up to $1,000 in bonus cash when depositing today, and you're going to get this free CD square. And they've been doing a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of discounted squares throughout the week and throughout the weekend as well. So go check it out. That link is also in the pinned comment, which you've heard a million times so far. Again, and you get the CD square as well as up to $1,000 in deposit bonus monies. It's a good deal, guys. Go check it out. I love Underdog. Within minutes, you could have a nice slip and have even more entertainment for the game. You combine two or more player props into a slip. The more you win, the more you get paid out, and this is a freebie here. It'll just boost the multiplier. So go check it out. That link is in the pinned comment. All right, we got 3 more games to jump into here. One of which being the Red Sox and the Yankees. Now, I'm a Red Sox fan. I asked this earlier on in the season, and I'm curious to see what people think, even if you're not a Yankees or Red Sox fan. Is this rivalry still a rivalry? You know, like the Yankees are much better than the Red Sox, and I feel like the juice hasn't been there for a while, but is this truly a rivalry? Is it the type of thing that can never go away just because there's so much history? Because though it doesn't presently feel like a rivalry, you're always going to have Red Sox-Yankee or Yankee-Red Sox in your brain, right? So I guess it's a rivalry, just maybe a dormant one, like a volcano's a volcano, even if it's not exploding type of thing. So that's kind of how I view this one, but I want to know what you guys think. Is this still a rivalry? Do people care about it, especially outside of those two teams? Red Sox fan, I'm always going to be like, screw the Yankees, but is like a, I don't know, a Blue Jays fan or Orioles, guys that are even in the division, right? Is a Washington Nationals fan like, whoa, Red Sox, Yankees? I want to know. Let me know in the comments. But in this one, we have Nestor Cortez at home. Very, very important. We always acknowledge when the Yankees are pitching at home. Going up against Cooper Criswell. I don't love the matchup here for the Red Sox, but I might throw a little bias into this one and say that for the number you're getting, the Red Sox may have some value. I'm admitting it's a biased player, right? But for plus 170, like, the Red Sox could score some runs here. We saw what they did against what they have done against the Yankees so far. They're 5-5 in their last 10 meetings. 9 of those came this season. So it's like they've won 5 of the 9. This is a Red Sox team that gets up for these games, right? Maybe they still think it's a rivalry. But I think my main play in this one's actually going to be taking a peek at the over. Last 10 spots here, they've hit an over in 7 of them. They've pushed in, I believe, 2. So they've only hit 1 under in their last 10 meetings. And this is sitting at 8.5. I really don't mind it. Weather in New York looks like it's going to be 76 with kind of mid-humidity. Should be pretty damn nice for some home runs as well. So, yeah, I'm going to lean towards the over as my main play, but call me a psycho or a biased psycho, and I'm admitting it. Give me the Red Sox here for some plus money. It's been a while since I've kind of leaned out of nowhere the Red Sox, right? So you got to give me credit there, but they've been so bad for quite some time now. They took 2 of 3 against Baltimore, took 2 of 3 against Chicago. Maybe they got something to brewing. Probably not, but maybe they do. And the Yankees, you know, a game last night where, yes, they stay at home, which is good, but extra innings finish, dramatic, all that, like, maybe they're a little bit tired, you know what I mean? So we'll see how that one goes. Red Sox money line, but I do like the over as, like, more of a legitimate, non-biased play, the over. All right, Seattle taking on the Texas Rangers here. We have Kumar Rocker, which is an incredibly cool name, pitching for Texas. I can at least pronounce that one. He's getting called up, I believe, today to make his first start. He hasn't even pitched in the bigs before. Seattle has Bryce Miller on the mound, who's obviously a very good pitcher, and he's coming off a really good start. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 4 Ks just, but 0 earned runs against St. Louis a week ago. So obviously there's a slight advantage here for Seattle. I'm going to lean in that direction. I think it's kind of crazy that we're getting a minus 140 price tag for Seattle against a new pitcher. Like, if there's any type of pitcher the Seattle team may be able to hit, it's the guy that's new to the league, right? And they just scored 5 runs yesterday. Maybe they pull out some more runs. I still am not a buyer in this Seattle offense, but pitching, sure. Like, this is a very good team pitching. Bryce Miller's been fantastic at home. .85 whip, a FIP of 2.38, an average against of 180 in the building, right? And then a strikeout rate that jumps nearly 7 points from 23% to 30%. So I like the spot. He throws a ton of fastballs and sinkers. Guess what? Even using this dashboard now, it's going to look wonky up here because we don't have any rocker data. But look, it's fastball and sinker, right? How about this? Fastball, Texas doesn't hit well. Sinker, Texas doesn't hit well. So decent pitches we should be able to see in the mix here for Bryce Miller as well. Now, I also consider a nerfy in this spot, though I don't know what we're going to expect from this kid making his first start. I guess the good news is that no one knows what to expect. So these first 3 outs, if he gets through them, could be the easiest outs he ever has in the bigs. At least that's how my weird brain is working. So I like Seattle, but I also like the under in the first inning for the nerfy. Full game, I don't really care much about this total because, again, I really don't know what to expect from Kumar Rocker. A lot of guys doing picks and whatnot probably are, very good at knowing about the prospects and whatnot. I'm not that guy, pal, like, I can admit that one. So I don't really want to give, I would probably lean under just because even if he's bad, this isn't the best offense for Seattle, but I'd rather go 3 outs and take it there. You know what I mean? That's the way I would play the under in a sense. All right, San Francisco taking on Milwaukee. This is the one that we lost last night. Hayden Birdsong now pitching in this one. He was listed yesterday, and then they switched it out. Frankie Montas on the other side here. As of right now, like, this is such a toss-up to me that it might be worth looking at San Fran for the plus money. In terms of offense, you saw San Fran's offense yesterday, right? So, like, good for them. They win that one 13-2. Like, yeah. Milwaukee, you might as well not even have shown up. Milwaukee did win game number 1, but they only scored 3 runs. So I don't know if this Milwaukee offense is cooking, and I think you'd need to do that against Birdsong. Like, that's how they would win this game, because Birdsong isn't all that great, but you got to be able to rock him. You know what I mean? If your offense is bad, it's just going to make that pitcher be a little bit better. So I don't know how I feel about this. I think I'm going to lean towards San Francisco to close out this series just because it's plus money. Like, this feels like a 50-50 spot to me. Both teams going up against a righty. Milwaukee's average last 30 days, 28th. San Francisco's last 30 days, 23rd. Like, not the best of numbers, right? So I think because there's a plus sign next to that San Francisco, it's the direction I'll lean in. The total sitting at 7.5 after yesterday. I feel like I'd be crazy to lean towards an under. And with Montas and Birdsong on the mound, like, I know Milwaukee's offense, I'm crying ragged on here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they could, you know, get a few off of Birdsong type of thing. He has 19 plate appearances against them, a batting average against of 286, and then a WOBA of 386. And then Montas, 37 plate appearances against, 344 expected batting average against, with an expected WOBA of 451. So both these pitchers have seen enough guys, at least for small sample size on the other team, and have not looked all that great. So I'll lean towards the over 7.5 in this spot as well. And guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's show. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, consider hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. Again, I'm going to try to maybe get, I don't know if we'll have a Friday MLB video tomorrow, but we do have multiple football videos coming out. So hopefully you guys can, you know, that'll be enough. We're going to try to get the MLB video out, even if we have to do a shorter video. But overall, just letting you know, with travel and everything, we'll be away for a wedding this weekend, another wedding. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you in today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. We'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.